My dear people of the United Kingdoms of Tikar, Bamenda, Highlands, I greet you all. Today, we will focus on Kumbbo. A tragic event happened in Kumbbo. A commander of BIR lost his life as a result of an explosive that was planted by the Tika armies of Kumbbo. Your land has been invaded. This video is designed to give you instructions on the way forward. Remain steadfast and calm. Be encouraged. But if care is not taken, we have worse days ahead. And for every business owner in the Northwest and every business owner from the Northwest, pay attention to this video because there is a lot of knowledge to be derived that will help us have perspective on the way moving forward. So Kumbbo is our focus. I would like to show you the map of Kumbbo so that you can see the specific geographical location that we are highlighting today. So that is Kumbbo, and if you zoom in, this is La Republique's focus. Kumbbo. Instructions was given about the lockdown, and those instructions were not obeyed, and we have to deal with the consequence. But remain steadfast and remain calm, because they are going to use the civilians. So everyone in Kumbbo, do not cooperate with the La Republique government. Do not cooperate with their military. Even if you have been doing that in the past, if you have been watching all my videos right up to this point, you understand who you are as an indigent of Tika. We do not sell our own. We do not betray our land. Do not cooperate with them. If they are that tough, let them figure out things all by themselves. They will use bike riders to find out where you're hiding. The Tika armies. Lying on that bed is a commander of the BIR. His legs are all gone, and so they are enraged. Because the people of Kumbbo did not obey the ghost town, that has opened up doors for the La Republique military to penetrate your land. But remain calm. Do not cooperate with them, because this will backfire on the civilians, and the civilians are going to be the victims. They don't care about you. If you watched the video yesterday, 300,000 Bamileke people were massacred in the 1950s and 1960s. This has not been long before you got independence, before you joined Cameroon. That is what happened to your brothers in the Bamileke land. So when you see the Bamileke people today, they are passive in Cameroon about certain things, you should understand why. This is what Aijo's government did to the Bamileke people. They don't like you. They don't love you. They don't want the best for you. And that is why I insist, especially the people of Big Babanki, do not kidnap their own. We are not that low. So let's go ahead and listen to what Tanganji Paul, Honorable Minister Tanganji Paul, is saying regarding these lockdowns. We are going to debunk some of his statements, bring about clarity so that we remain focused. Let's take a listen.
That is the idea of even Anglophones, marginalizing Anglophones. You have your store, someone tells you a ghost, you don't even see it, don't open your store. It's a ghost. You go to the bank, you take a loan, you put in merchandise in your store, and you cannot sell because a ghost is telling you not to. That is the best way of marginalizing. That is the best way of Anglophones, marginalizing Anglophones. And I have to say it, my pronouncements are very clear. And the parents should talk to their children. All these children in the bushes don't come from Jupiter, Mercury, or Neptune. We know where they are. If each parent, if you go and tell the administrative authority that I've not seen my son for 1 year, so if you catch him in the bush, I'm not part of it. Now, the children will know that we don't have the backings of our parents, they will come out. So
I just want to stop right there and tell you that that is a trap he just set for you parents, that if you do not see your children, go and report to the authorities that you haven't seen your son for 1 year. That is a trap for you. Be very careful. We are smarter than that in 2025. Don't cooperate with this man. He has eaten with the devil, and he doesn't care about anyone from the Northwest. He doesn't represent us. I heard he made this speech in Boya. He doesn't represent us, and he can't speak for us. He can only speak for Paul BIR. And if you know what Paul BIR has done to you for 42 years, then you know who to listen to. Do not trust him. Every word that comes out of his mouth are lies. He has been corrupted. And don't listen to him. He doesn't understand even what he's saying. Let's keep listening.
Most of those still in the bushes are conniving with their parents or with their relatives. We should stop playing games. Double standards. You say one thing in the day and in the night you do something. It is not.
They are losing. That is why he is angry. Because they are losing. And I want to make this clear. This is also a motivation for the BIR to target innocent civilians in Kumbo. And I want to warn the BIRs. These are adults. These children understand their pain, of which most parents will never understand, and they are taking their destinies into their hands. Do not get their parents in the mix. Most of them took up this challenge to do what you could never do. Look at where you find yourself. Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, they were on the British side and they switched to protect their people. Look at you. The GDP of America at that time was 30% the GDP of Britain. Benjamin Franklin was associating with high-profile individuals in Britain, left all of that to work for his people. I thought that is what you were up to. But to stay there for this length of time and your people are dying for 9 years and you keep saying this, sir, no. I thought you were a spy to go in there and see what is going on so you can free your people. This man, I'll show you what he is. So stay glued to your screen. He is a house Negro. In those days of slavery and slave trade, this is a classic example of what a house Negro is. And if you don't understand your history, that is why you don't know the role this individual is playing. So let's keep watching.
Not correct. And we are confident in the victory of good over evil. So everything which is evil will not last for long. Everything which is evil has to do with Lucifer. And you know the end of Lucifer.
So Brenda BIR is pushing for evil, cautioning Cameroonians not to vote for the father. The entire world is evil for criticizing this government. Because sometimes we might think, okay, maybe people are jealous or maybe people don't like the government. But when the entire world is saying no, even those who conspire with you are saying this government is corrupt. What is good, sir, and what is evil? Can you define that? The 300,000 Bamenda people killed by this government. Was that good? When you hear other groups, other races saying black people are inferior, it's because of this complicity. That is why they look at you inferior. Because if you can sell your own, you are the most stupid individual on earth. If you can betray your own, gossip about your own, you are very evil. And that is why the white people say the black race is inferior because of individuals like this. Before the philosophers and the merchants and the clergies came to that conclusion that black people are inferior, because during the era of slavery and slave trade, they could encounter individuals like this, and they will sell their people for a loaf of bread. They will sell their people for guns. They will sell their people for clothes. They will sell their people for their political position. And so they looked at them and they said, these humans must be inferior. They don't say black people are inferior because of you. They say they are inferior because of your leader. Let's keep watching.
It's important, my brothers and sisters, we should talk to our children. The head of state has made enormous sacrifices to help the Northwest and the Southwest regions to come out of this, given the special status, which is something the other regions don't have. So why should we not be thankful and tell our children that enough is enough? And if each parent has total control over his son or daughter, this will come to an end. But if you sit somewhere, your child goes out, he kills somebody with a gun, he brings the money you take to eat, you are killing yourself.
You said the parents should go report at the police station that they haven't seen their child for 1 year. And then you turn around and say, oh, they go kill somebody and bring the money home. They have been gone for 1 year, sir. Because they are out picking up a cause that you don't have the balls to. You don't have courage to. Look at the military surrounding you in Boya. And you think you are that courageous compared to that young man in the bush? You are a disgrace to Bamenda. You are a disgrace to Bamenda. Minister Atanganji. You are a disgrace to what it means to be a Bamenda man. Shame. Shame on you. You are a disgrace to your parents. A disgrace to your village. You're a disgrace for 9 years. Shame.
That's money from a dubious source, and you are, instead of eating the money, you are drinking the blood of some other person, which is not good. So we have to advise our children and tell them that there is no way you can fight the state. You will never have the means to fight a state like Cameroon. It's not.
And my dear warriors, brave soldiers of the United Kingdoms of Tika, Bamenda Highlands, let me put this out there as clear as I can. America, with all its sophisticated weapons, did not defeat Vietnam. France tried and failed. The Vietnamese people triumphed. That is why you have to disassociate yourself from all these so-called leaders that have misguided you right up to this point. And follow the path that I'm laying for us to move forward. America never won the war against Vietnam because the people were united. No one in their communities will point to the direction where their soldiers or fighters were hiding. Those who were in the military joined their people to protect their land. Civilians were quiet and cooperated with the soldiers that were out to defend their land. That is why I caution us, do not kidnap for ransom. Do not hurt the population. In your spare time, farm, learn a trade, carpentry, bricklaying, learn something. Be building the country that we want to see. You have it in you. Don't let no one fool you. Don't spend your entire time just in the barracks. Be out doing something. If there is ghost town in the entire Northwest, let it be obeyed. No one should disobey. platoon by platoon. Organize yourselves. Barracks by barracks. Organize yourself. Farm. Learn a trade. Provide for your community even in the midst of this war. They played with the people of the Bamenda land, but never again. And the Bamenda people will rise to fall no more. Let's keep watching. So don't let him fool you that you will never defeat the Cameroon military. They are wrong by any standard. Morally, spiritually, physically, they are wrong. Colonial game is over. Britain and France came and stitched this country. We were never together. For hundreds of years, we were never in Cameroon. There was nothing like Cameroon. That name means crayfish. We are not crayfish. We are Tikar. We are the people of the stool. We are kings. We build kingdoms. Don't let rhetoric from sellouts like this dilute your energy. And parents don't have anything to do with the young people in the bush. Let the population be alert. Don't hurt our parents. These young people are fighting for their destiny. They might have picked up the Amazonian cause, but I've said that cause, you don't have the blessings of your ancestors. Follow the cause that reflects your genealogy, your history. You cannot yoke with Southwest people that have sold over 200,000 of your people, hurt you, insult you, call you Ngrapi, come no go. Bamenda man, let Bamenda, they call you that. We associate more with our sour roots. Yes, that is true, they are right. Detach yourself from them. Any son or daughter from Bamenda residing in the southwest Douala or Yaoundé, this is time to return and defend your land. You fighting to defend southwest, your ancestors can never bless you. Leave that land. The children of Israel had to get up and leave Egypt. Southwest is more of an Egypt for you than even Yaoundé or Douala. BIR has just been dabbling with us for 42 years. Southwest got into your land, destroyed your culture for more than 400 years. And this is time for black people to fix their habit, or we remain like this forever and be classified as an inferior race wherever we go around the world because of clowns like this. We are being classified as an inferior race. Less than 1% of Europeans will come to Africa. 15 to 20% of elites and people in Africa cooperate to sell their neighboring nations, penetrate their lands, penetrate their kingdoms. And then you want them to turn around and think that you're superior? When I watch videos like this and I go around and people say the black race is inferior, I don't blame them. I don't.
So the head of state has given us a way to come out of it. That go and relinquish your weapons, do everything. Go and meet the local administrative authorities. They'll take you to the DDR centers and you'll start a new life. So that is the, we should make our pronouncements very clear. And I want to thank the governor and all the senior divisional officers, all the forces of law and order for what they have achieved.
In Malcolm X's words, let him describe who Atanganji Paul is so that you hear it from his mouth, not from my mouth. Take a listen.
Back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill him. They'd send some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check.
Let me break it down. He said in the era of slavery, there was two kinds of slaves. There was the house slaves and the field slaves. The field slave is you, the Tika fighter, the Tika warrior, the Tika armies. And on the other side, we had the house slaves. The house slave will fight for his master. That is exactly what Atanga Njipo is doing. He thinks he's free. He's not. Tomorrow he will say he was manipulated by Paul BIR to say all those things, and we will not take that. That is why we are cautioning everyone that is going along with what this government is doing. Tomorrow, take 100% responsibility for your role in this whole shenanigans.
He put him back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself.
That the house Negro loved his master more than the master loved himself. That is why you see Paul BIR is not in public view. But we have house Negroes representing him in every corner of Cameroon.
That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire,
that when the master was sick, he will ask the master, "Master, we are sick." So if the master is sick, it is we, including himself, is sick as well. So the condition that Paul BIR is in, Atanga Njipo is in that condition as well.
try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes, they ate the worst food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died.
That for the field Negro, if the master was sick, he prayed that the master died. That was the field Negro. He was the warrior. He was the brave one, the courageous one, that understood the price of freedom. He knew that they would never give it to him. He has to fight for his freedom. So he prayed that the master died when the master was sick.
If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along.
He said when the master's house was on fire, he will pray that a strong wind come along and put that house ablaze.
This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes.
And he concludes by saying, today we still have house Negroes and field Negroes. Since when he made that speech, black people have not changed till today. We always have house Negroes and we always have field Negroes. Only education can take this ignorance out of us.
I'm a field Negro.
We will always have a house Negro and we will always have a field Negro. The way you take the ignorance out of the house Negro is through education. And some of them, you banish them. Some of them, you distance yourself from them. And they start understanding this behavior is not welcome in our community. My friends, 7 to 8 European countries came down to Africa in a population of about 100 million at that time. 47. There are 47 countries in Europe, and just about 7 to 8 came down and did that job. Out of that 7 to 8 countries, 1% of each country was assigned to come down to Africa. Started with the Portuguese. 1%, 15 to 20% of African elites cooperated. They've never taken the time and break this history, analyze it, look at exactly what happened so that you understand your condition. Because you go around, you look at every white man, you think they are smart, right? Because why? They can preserve their own, and they are the ones to come down there and you sell your own. Less than 1% of each country. Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Britain, France, Germany, Denmark. These countries enslaved Africans in their millions. How did that happen? There was a 15 to 20% of our elites willing to sell the rest of the people for their positions, for greed, for gunpowder, for clothes. They started selling prisoners of war. When they exhausted that, they started penetrating the hinterlands, capturing human beings from their neighbors and selling as slaves. That is your story. And today it's still happening through colonialism and neo-colonialism. Always have a Negro willing to cooperate with an outsider to serve his people. So with that, you will come to that same conclusion that a black race is inferior. Think about it. When you gossip about your brother, even abroad, cause them to fall, you are a house Negro. That is who you are. When you scheme to poison someone because they have an opportunity to travel abroad, you are proving that black people are inferior. Out of 5 ships that went on a voyage, just about 2 made it. 3 never made it back. The first explorer in Africa was killed. These are kidnappers. They call them explorers today. Your own people you will kill. These are human traffickers. Today they are labeled as explorers. That is the title they give them in their books. When they come back home, at least if they go on a trip, they lose maybe 3 ships. If they succeed, that covers up for all the loss. So they still made huge profit if 1 or 2 ships return. That was the metrics. They invest and lost a lot of money as well in that process. Very few European countries involved in slavery and slave trade and colonialism because it was expensive. It was not cheap. And they had investors, merchants, philosophers, clergies that got involved in the trade. To be honest, looking at our behavior, I don't really blame the white people that much. Because this is the picture, my friends. Let me paint it so you see it. Imagine that I have a store and I hire a storekeeper, that is someone to sell at my store. I train them. So that means they should have my best interest at heart and their best interest as well. Because if the store succeeds, we make money. They get a salary. The business expands. So look at Africa as a store. Look at your presidents and your leaders, your chiefs, as the storekeeper. A customer comes in and a loaf of bread that is supposed to be sold for 500 francs. And they sell that loaf of bread for 50 francs. That bread is 500 francs and they sell the bread for 50 francs. And that goes on over time. You will go out of business. Right? You go out of business. Now, we have many customers coming and buying. And then you come, you realize your stock is going down. Who are you going to hold responsible? Are you going to run after all the customers that came to that store and bought bread that was supposed to be sold for 500 francs, but the storekeeper sold it for 50 francs? No, we will hold the storekeeper accountable. Right? Today, we are running after the customers. We mount more pressure to get the customers than mount pressure on the storekeeper. Every chief, every president, every minister is an authority to protect the people. Act in the best interest of the people and not even Paul Biya. Atanganjipo is supposed to uphold the constitution of Cameroon, not Paul Biya's interest, not France's interest. If anything goes wrong, we hold them accountable. The white people will invest in their own, so they go out and bring something back home. We will sell our own and keep everything to ourselves. And then you turn around and tell me that if they tell you that a black man is inferior, because this race thing was invented in the 1400s. Before then, you will not walk into a place as a black man and they look down on you. You get it? It was invented. We had black pharaohs. I've shared the story with you that ruled Egypt. We had black people that ruled Spain. But that can never happen today because we have proven to the world that we are inferior through our actions, even in 2025. If I watch a video like this, what I just heard Atangan Jipo saying, I react to these videos to educate us. If not, I just fold my arms and I say, oh, those people were right. We can't unite together after 55 years of being in pain in Cameroon. In 2016, our leaders could not unite on a common vision. Some people were federalists. Others were fighting for power than the people. This is all proof to the white race and other groups that we are inferior. There is a gentleman who said he was shocked to travel abroad and just to realize that we have individuals within their factions that serve in the military and yet could not give them proper guidance back home. And they were fighting blindly. We cannot coordinate ourselves. I love to always start at a place where I say, I don't know. Always agree. There's nothing bad agreeing that you don't know. That is where education starts. If you start with the premise that you know, bro, that is ego. This behavior, what we have seen in our country, even in the Amazonian struggle, is classic proof that there are some things. Just to start a movement by saying kidnap for ransom, and you kidnap your own people. Until today, it is still going on. Citizens turn against fighters. And we never came up with a solution to solve this. In Big Babanki, they are still kidnapping people today. Interrupting people when they are out to bury their dead. We celebrate funerals more than we celebrate life. I'm bringing this out so we make adjustments. This is how we fix our society and prove to the rest of the world that we are not inferior. Fair? Kidnap your own for ransom. My people, when I look on social media even, it's not like we don't have money in this community. 1% of Northwesterners can free this entire zone. and we have our independence, we are large. 1% of Northwesterners can free Northwest in the hands of La Republic. If the population of Northwest is 2.5 million, that means 25,000 people from the Northwest can free Northwest from the hands of La Republic. The entire La Republic army is not up to 50,000, and they can't deploy everyone who works in the military to Northwest. Can free Northwest. 1%. I said less than 1% of each nation that participated in slavery and slave trade and colonialism was sent to Africa. With the collaboration of 15 to 20% of our people, their mission was successful. It's not like we don't have money. Go look at your bloggers online. The white people invest in their intellectuals, the Charlie Kirks, so they can go out there, spread their message, and bring back treasures or influence the world towards their own agenda. We invest in those who cry the most in our community. If someone shows up and say, "Oh, I've been in pain, I've lost my husband, I don't have money, I'm pregnant," you see money come out of the same people. When you look at it and they tell you the black man is inferior, bro, don't be angry. It is in our behavior. See it online. Just look at it. You rarely go to the white community and see them investing or making donations towards events like that. They invest in the great ones among them. They go bring treasure that helps even those who are struggling, and they do that through programs that is not even noise on social media. We take our time, invest more in those who are struggling, right? And those who can really bring great treasure in the community, they speak their lungs out and you fold your arms, watch them. I mean, I'll play a video, but before we get there, I want you to listen to how Donald Trump presents their country. I listen to it, it breaks my spirit, but it's out of admiration, not hate, out of admiration. But I'm praying for the black race. At least I believe in my heart that the Tika people will be a spark for this continent. That is what the gods have shown me. If we get it together, we will be the spark for a new wave of change in the continent of Africa. Let's take a listen.
Our ancestors climbed mountains, conquered oceans, crossed deserts, and trekked over wide open plains. They charged into thunderous battles, plunged into grave dangers, and they were soldiers and farmers and workers and warriors and explorers and patriots. They built towns into cities, tribes into kingdoms, ideas into industries, and small islands into mighty empires. You're a part of all of that. They were champions for their people who never gave up and who never, ever gave in. Their values defined our national identities. Their visions forged our magnificent destiny. Everybody in this room is a part of it in your own way. Each of us inherits the deeds and the myths, the triumphs, the legacies of our own heroes and founders who so bravely showed us the way. Our ancestors gave everything for homelands that they defended with pride.
They gave everything for homeland. They gave everything so that their people can have a place that stands tall among nations today. And you see people walking around, all they see is money, money, money everywhere. Hustle, hustle, hustle everywhere. People don't have purpose. They are not driven by a mission. That is why we travel to work for people that are driven by mission to help their economy to continue expanding. Mission doesn't exist in our community. You step forward, the first thing everybody sees is money, or you are being paid. Nobody is driven by mission. Hear those words. Hear how they present their heroes. Africa want to tell a story of, oh, they came here and colonized us, enslaved us. No, I go way back. Our ancestors were great men. They were brave men. Our kingdoms, our chiefs, we migrated from Sudan. We had black pharaohs that led Egypt. I go way back to tap inspiration to defy the condition that we find ourselves in. This is what I listen to. And with that, it helps me find Tika, Titam, Ncharien, brave man.
Sweat, with blood, with life, and with death. Now the righteous task of protecting the nations that they built belongs to each and every one of us.
Because they cooperated, supported the brilliant ones among them, what they all have right now belongs to each and every one of them. That is why the white collar threatens you, and the black collar, like. So the white collar by default is privilege. By default, you stand close to any white man, your countenance drops because of 1% of that population. For the business owners in Northwest and out of Northwest, now pay attention, because I'm about to show you. We learn, right? Whether you own MTN, as long as we are in this condition, whether you own the biggest construction company in Northwest, as long as our people is in this condition, it means nothing. Whether you are the chief, mayor, governor, in as much as our people is in this condition, it means nothing. Listen to this video. It's going to be an eye-opener for any wealthy investor, business owner in our community. Take a listen.
What you guys don't know is this is Bill Montgomery. You guys know Turning Point? I know you guys know Turning Point. They're doing remarkable work out there on the campuses. This guy is the co-founder, right? Cool.
Just to set the record straight, this is Bill Montgomery. Bill Montgomery is the man who saw Charlie Kirk at the age of 18. Heard him speak, identified potential in the young man, and said, leave college, start an organization. You will travel around the United States speaking to our people. They identified potential. That is the old man. Not that, oh, I want to be on the stage with you. Oh, I want you to work under me. Oh, no, I will sponsor you. We don't even know him. I'm sure you're shocked seeing the man. But this is how we research, understand, so that when we are trying to fix issues in our community and some want to make us think we are crazy, we benchmark our story with others. By now, we would have had business owners from Northwest say, brother, you don't have to worry about money. Let's fly. That is what the explorers that came, enslaved, colonized Africa. And the Europe we see today is wealthy because of those individuals. The culture is still prevalent till date. They always go around looking for the smart ones in their community. I want you to listen to him say it from his mouth. That's an old man. You never saw him on stage, right? But that is the man who changed Charlie Kirk's life. But the story they might tell you is, Charlie Kirk is someone that bootstrapped everything, started from nothing and built this huge organization, not knowing that there was a man like this. Invested. Was not in a rush to say, oh, how much money has come in? Oh, you want to make progress? Oh, give me something right now. Start fighting you. No, just let the young man fly. Oh, I want to give you something now, but I will tell you what to do. He let the young man do what he was passionate about. In our community, you invest in someone. Oh, you look at everything they want to do. You want to micromanage, control. It is a spirit. I can tell you everything that I feel in my heart about this vision, but you will never ever execute it like me. You will never ever do what God has called me to do, and that is what makes us great, because we are all unique. And these people understand this philosophy. That's why their community is blessed. Black people, the white man will own the FIFA. We will have the Etofis to play in the FIFA. The white man will own the NFL. We will have the LeBron James playing in the NFL. We have to rise above this kind of thinking. And you don't even know who own the FIFA. You don't know who own the NFL. But you know your players playing in there. And I was sharing this with a young man, and I told him, he was saying, oh, Samuel Etofis. And I told him, no, the kind of thinking in my mind is not to be like the Samuel Etofis. My thinking is to build the team that Samuel Etofis plays in. That is my thinking. You can't take this from me. That is how I feel, because of my experience, education, and my upbringing. At 18, I started a film club. And it was because of a long-time senior citizen who was like a mentor. Went through primary school, he saw me. He was like a father figure. Say, I will give you one room in my school to host your meeting every Sunday. Gave me the keys. For more than 5 years, he said, use it as you want. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I'm not a mistake. I'm where I am today because of great people. Never asked a dime. But there are many young people that were blessed through that organization. And they've gone on to do great things with their life. That is how we think 25, 30, 50 years into the future. His name will be on my lips till I go to my grave. Because of his heart. It was not that he was giving me that room that when I start making money with my movies, he rush around and say, no, give me something. No. But if it's an investment, it's something different. You should get a return on your investment. But be clear upfront that is an investment. And we negotiate, have a contract on those terms. Take a listen.
Founder.
Wow. So
I met him when he was 18 years old.
who, Charlie?
Charlie.
Yeah.
He was speaking at Benedictine University, and there was a demonstration put on by the former Attorney General of Illinois to demonstrate to 400 high school students the difference between Tea Party people and Occupy Wall Street people. And what was interesting, they put on mock demonstrations, had 3 speakers from each group speak, and really interesting, the kids were bored silly. So, as the 7th speaker was walking up to the podium, I looked at the clock and I said, I hope it isn't going to be a long speech. I turned around and I watched 400 kids going from falling to sleep to wide awake. And so afterwards, I looked at the clock, not afterwards, but I looked at the clock, and it was only about 20 seconds it took for him to make these kids wide awake. I was so impressed with his message and the way he did it that I went down to him afterwards and I said, Charlie Kirk, you don't know me, but you can't go to college. He was 18 years old. He was going to go to Baylor. I said, you've got to start an organization to reach out to young people in this country. And for the next 2.5 years, he and I traveled all over the country. And because he was 18, couldn't rent a car, couldn't get into a hotel. And after 2.5 years, my wife said to me, well, I got my husband back. but it was the most fun and exciting time of my life to know that this country was going to be saved.
Well, it's
He saw the young man and said, America will be saved through this young man. So I'm teaching us these things in our community. It's not like the community doesn't have money. We invest more in the people that cry the most and not in those that can expand the community and bring wealth into the community. Make the community great. Americans focus on that. And then through all the food stamps and other government programs, they take care of the needy. We invest in the needy and then we get stuck here. No way to move forward. That is our own community. We see great people that can move our community forward. No, we stay on the sideline, feel threatened, and don't invest in them. There are 10 people from the Northwest, 10, that can put their heads together and say, Brother Roland, you don't have to worry about finances. Let's build this country. 17,300 square kilometers of land. We can make this a modern Singapore in our lifetime. Turn our lakes into beaches. Get this La Republic clowns out of our nation. We're never part of them. We are Tika by blood. There are 10 people that could make that up. Can start with one man, and that can become a possibility. That young man is celebrated around this country today, till today. Maybe you never knew about this man. Even after Charlie Kirk's death, you've not seen this man there. But that is the man who made Charlie Kirk. That is why white people win. That's why they win. They know how to invest in the great ones that go explore, bring the slaves, and the entire community gets better. Know how to explore, sign the contracts with the African presidents, bring back the timber, the gold, the ivory, and the entire community is blessed. We don't have people over there that will say, no, we will get a fair deal on this timber because my own people have to eat. Not that we won't do business, but let's have a fair deal. We don't have that. We support the crooked ones, put them in power, cheer them up, and hope to be looked at around the world as a superior or equal race. It's actions like this when I see it and I'm like, respect. You can't. I mean, if you prove to me that you know what you're doing, man, hats off. Respect. Straight up. You must respect other great people. People can talk about what they want, about Charlie Kirk. I'm not looking at just the rhetoric. I'm looking at a system that has been built for hundreds of years that works. When they come down there, they train 1 or 2 Africans on how to go catch their neighbors and come sell them. The system is running. They're like, okay, hands off. It starts working. They build a system. It's still working. They go around looking for young people in their community, invest in them. And they go out there and continue the spread of their ideas, persuade the world about who America is, tell their stories of their heroes and great men that built their nation. And we tell a story of being victims on that pulpit. No, this is just a slide of a mistake that we've made and we can correct it fast. And I'll never go with a victim story. We are better than that, Bamenda people. Tika people, Northwest people, we are better than that. Let's keep listening.
exciting too about Turning Point is that, you know, I'm local. I'm a local guy, Chicago guy, and you guys started in Lamont, so I have family ties in Lamont. So, and to know the impact you're having is a testimony to the impact that you guys started in a small house. And
a two-car garage.
A two-car garage.
Right.
You know, that's the American story. You have a dream, you get something done, and now you guys are reaching millions and millions of people. And you're having a massive impact on the youth of America, and that's what matters. And we just saw the president speak. It was an amazing speech, so much to digest. I'm still trying to process it all, but there will be more. So.
There will be. It's an exciting time, and we are going to turn Illinois red.
Amen.
I'm sharing all of this to challenge us because I know we have it in us. God reveals these things because He knows that we can be great. In 7 days, 200,000 Americans came out to pay tribute to Charlie Kirk. They put that event in 7 days and filled that arena to come celebrate a 31-year-old young man that shook this nation. For 55 years, from 1961 to 2016, that is 55 years, we could not rally on one direction that we want independence. We have people who say they are federalists, they want a fair treatment in this system in Cameroon. Some are working for the system and say the system is good. Others are fighting among each other, say I'm the one that is the president. And each and every one of them know who was really brave and courageous to lead, that they would have stepped back and say, take this role, I will handle this role, I will handle this role. Everybody want to be on the spotlight. That became more important than the liberation of our people. Let's kidnap them and take money from them. Suffering people. Before they bury their dead, we will charge them. And then we turn around and want their cooperation. People of the Northwest, I'm truly sorry that things went this way. Including those who were sponsoring, hoping that some of these leaders will carry themselves with dignity. Study to show yourself approved. Because that is the only thing that I know in my entire life that will wipe out ignorance. Read like crazy. Devour books. Get mentors. Go to seminars. Hang around the right people. Stay away from mediocrity. Tika people, you're special. You're God's people. Just take a listen to what a young man said at Charlie Kirk's funeral. Blew my mind. And I'm like, we will get here in my lifetime. This will not just be a dream. This will be a reality that we will live to see in the United Kingdoms of Tika, Bamenda Highlands.
Hello everyone, my name is Mikey McCoy. I had the unique honor, blessing, and privilege of a lifetime to not only call Charlie a precious friend, mentor, but to travel with him literally everywhere. The first time I met Charlie was when I was driving him and his then girlfriend Erica to the airport after he had spoken at my father's church. The entire car ride, he was grilling me on Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, American history. At the end, he said, "Don't go to college, come work for me instead." At 18, I canceled my college.
You can't hear someone in our community that is doing something or not doing anything at all, and you say, oh, drop that, let's work together and build something. Some will not acquiesce to that. They would rather have 100% of nothing than have 5% of something huge. That young man dropped school and joined Charlie Kirk. That is America. When you see that, they tell you black people are inferior, white people are superior. Brother, I mean, they are willing to step aside, drop their ego, join something big, and they are progressing. Everybody wants to do their own thing in their own corner, even if it will make no impact globally. Even if it won't change the destiny of our people. When you look at that kind of a behavior over time, my brother, and they say these people are inferior, will you argue? No, you think about it. Will you argue? That is a young man. Came and speak. Spoke at the father's church. While he was driving him to the airport, he said, don't go to college. Quit college and come work for me. The rest is history. Hear the story. For the young people, you will need young people to build a team. We will need leaders, investors to invest. We will need elders to advise, guide this vision, not manipulate it. The reason why I say that is because I was reading the story of Facebook. You know, Peter Thiel invested in Facebook, right? Huge investor. He shares a story of a scenario where they were looking at selling the Facebook at some point. Maybe it wasn't making money, or maybe it was making money and people wanted to buy Facebook. And he said they went for that meeting, sat down, the investors came in, and the young man, Mark Zuckerberg, that is the American system. They look for young people, invest in them, reap the profit, the community grows. We say white man is strong. No, it's just 1%. 1%, not all. But because they know how to invest in that 1%, the entire race always looks good. We do not know how to invest in that 1%, so the entire community is the race to the top, and we never get there. And the top is the middle class that they have set for us, most of us. He said the meeting will be very brief. Facebook got in there and said, we are not selling the company. We'll keep doing Facebook. I have this vision in my heart and I know where we are going. Peter Thiel never argued. That is an investor. Huge investment in Facebook. Listen to the young man. Stepped out. When I hear stories like this, and then you come around, you hear the frustration of having to deal with senior citizens that have opinions that haven't worked. I'm like, no, I see what works. Has changed civilizations. Has worked for hundreds of years. These are the principles that I bring to us, Tika people. Let's keep listening.
College plans, moved to Arizona. My life was forever changed by Charlie. All of us in this room have that in common. My first day working at Turning Point, I met an incredible girl who Charlie was interviewing on his podcast, sharing the story of her family who had survived a totalitarian regime, whose grandfather was imprisoned in the gulags for 10 years for preaching the gospel. Elizabeth and I were married a year later. Thank you, Charlie. When Charlie would speak on college campuses, he'd often wear t-shirts with inspiring taglines like, "Here I am, never surrender, freedom." But as I've watched back so many clips these past 11 days, my favorite, and so often worn by him, was "Live Free." 11 days ago, my friend was martyred for using his voice to engage in peaceful dialogue. Charlie's assassin thought that he could steal and silence his voice by putting a bullet in his neck. In the words of Soren Kierkegaard, "The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule has just begun." Charlie was not.
Did you listen to how electrifying those words are? See couples walking together. We should learn this even in our community. Husband and wives pursuing a cause that can change the world and not fighting one another over how much who is making. That is why at the end, the white race, they'll say it is superior and the black race is inferior. Right? Crap mentality, crap mindset. Change it we change our world. We change how we are perceived around the world. And I believe Tika people can change how black people are perceived globally. Societies are built through secrets, not noise. We sit together, come up with a plan, and create a miracle, not noise. I say 7 European nations change how the world sees Europe till today. 7. And out of that 7, 1% of each country, not the entire Europe. Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Spain, Britain, Germany, these nations change how Europe is perceived till date. France. And we want to say we are inferior with 2 hands, 2 legs, a brain, eyes that can see, mouth that can speak. And our existence in this world is all about hustle and food in our stomach, betray one another, sell one another, be corrupt to one another. They won't do that to their own. See how they turn his death around. See how they turned his death around and made something amazing out of it. Welcome to the world, guys. I hope the message blessed you. This should be a message to not watch over. Watch it again and again. Sit in your quiet time and reflect. And let our ancestors speak to you. If you're a business owner, let it speak to you. Investors in our community, let it speak. Young men with depleted energy that have skills that we can unite and create a country that we can be proud of and respected among men. Let this message speak to you. Kidnappers came down there today. They are called explorers. Human traffickers came down there, took your people in their millions from the continent. Our own people took guns, took clothes, alcohol, and sold us. They joined with colonial masters to subjugate us, and they are on national TV talking. We will never ever have another Atanganji coming from Northwest again. This is the last one. Never from the Tika land are we going to have another Negro from the Northwest. We will be respected globally. We will be respected in every community. Even our surrounding neighbors that have conspired to put us down will get their own act together when we stand tall. And they too will be blessed over time. Africa will be blessed through the Tika people. If you're looking for prophecy, this is my prophecy. The Tika people will open up the way for Africa. Don't be confused about size. Everybody was looking at some nations with numbers, right? In Africa. Burkina Faso came out of nowhere. And they're like, oh, who is Burkina Faso? Okay, Burkina Faso. Now you have Ibrahim Traore on your lips. Tika people will spark the way for a new wind of change that has never been heard of in the continent of Africa. Write this date down.